And we're back, the TAKful Creator here. Okay, let's get started. May God the Creator bless us. May God the Redeemer heal us. May God the Holy Spirit enlighten us. Give us eyes to see, ears to hear, and hands to do the work of God. Feet to walk the path of justice, and mouths to preach the good news. May the angel of peace, prosperity, love, abundance, guidance, a lot of mercy only on the part of those that are chosen, and then a lot of karma to those that are not. To lead us to the reign of God. Ashe, 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 ashe. So as you can tell already on the board, we have some energy here because we're in our descriptive cards. And yes, I'm going to jump right into the reading because I was definitely annoyed prior to the reading. There's some kind of Latino or Latina people from Latin America. They either have the traditions, language, or culture. As we can see here on the card, they have some kind of passed down wealth. So whatever that they have right now or are using right now, utilizing right now, it's not technically theirs, right? So it's kind of like stolen. We're getting a sense of that, right? When things are passed down, in a sense, unless you have like a contract or whatever, you know, associated with it, you can't really dictate who it goes to. It normally goes to the next of kin, or normally goes to the next people, you know, present. So that's what I'm kind of getting here. I'm getting here that there's an energy of people utilizing passed down or inherited items, right? These individuals may have frizzy or curly hair and a lot of facial hair. Okay, so you know, if we're talking about women with facial hair, and don't get me wrong, I do know a woman or two that have like mustaches, like full-on mustaches. And don't get me wrong, like, you know, they move and thrive in their feminine energy. It's just they have mustache, you know, just overactive testosterone, I guess, hormone. Anyway, but I'm gauging more that we're probably talking about a masculine here. Okay. Getting gray hair energy of a popular person. This could be a separate energy here. So we can, instead of talking about a collective here, we could be talking about one specific individual. And this individual is basically a basic bitch, right? That's what we can say. Excuse my language, but the cards never, confirmation, the cards never lie. All the confirmation in the world. Okay, so I'm getting something about a warm aura, but that would go best with a popular person here. Okay, and these cards flipped over here. There's someone who is finding a better way, who uses or utilizes rose-colored lenses. So that means that they put their own filter on their life. Usually that's associated with maybe spiritual blindness, but if it's connected to someone who's finding a better way, this could be their way of kind of shielding themselves from their personal reality so that they can better align with an alternate reality based on the lens that they're wearing. Okay, if you understand, you understand. All right, so there's someone who is having some kind of moving up. They're in this finding a better way. They kind of seem like an atheist. Oh, left. Okay, so excuse me, literally, I just love how the divine works. Like the atheist would be with this Latin America, right? This Latino or tradition, language, culture vibe, right? This very hairy vibe, right? And don't get me wrong, the hair is like the curls popping, but I'm just getting like, you know, with people who have a lot of hair, they tend to have less sensitivity to energies around them. So like if you have hair on your arms and stuff, you can feel the wind. You would think that would make you more sensitive, but because you're feeling that all the time, you miss out on the more spiritual nudges, the spiritual hints and clues, right? Because those gentle brushes and stuff like that are connected with spiritual information. Unfortunately, if you can logically push away that information, it separates you from understanding the symbolism behind it. Okay, so that's what I'm also getting here. This atheist vibe is not necessarily like they are praising Satan. They just don't have a religion attached to them. They don't really focus on religion much. It's probably not their day-to-day. But as we know as spiritualists, if you do not have a religion or a spiritual home, a spiritual basis, oftentimes your fundamentals or morals are skewed. Right, so that means that the person that you are in character or personality, what you deem as a good person is not actually a good person, because it's not tethered to the science behind what a good person would be, and that is noted in religion, right? That is noted in spirituality. Again, if you know, you know. So I'm not really saying anything negative about this person. We don't know yet whether or not this person is good or bad. We know that this person is separate from spirituality. So they wouldn't be considered the chosen energy here. The energy over here would be considered more chosen. This popular, more gray-haired energy. Okay, and I'm not really getting physically gray hair. I'm definitely getting like a more mature stance. Okay, but we'll see what other cards fall out. So there's someone who is kind of closed off, but it's like this popular person is more closed off to this energy. But as a chosen person with having high frequency, it would be almost impossible for you to thrive around energies like this, okay, unless you're assisting them with their ascension and their level up. You know, this moving up ceremony that we're talking about. Okay, the crown chakra is activated, and as that card flipped over, we see this 000 here. Now, we already know that that is in connection with the divine because we have the trilogy, right? But 0 is the number of infinity, right? The circular aspect of life, how everything is connected, and it seems like it's in a linear fashion, but the beginning and the end always meet, right? You always have to understand that, okay? So with this crown chakra, because then we also see the alignment here with the 0 kind of being at the tail end, right? This popular person definitely has a gift of receiving information, probably from the ethereal realm. So we can say ancestors, guides, you can say the divine, you can even say, like, you know, passed over relatives, like you can say they can hear the thoughts of others. So crown chakra activation is not only you seeing with your third eye, obviously, the information from energies you can't physically see with your 2 eyes, but the crown chakra activation also talks about the psychic ability of telepathy, right? The other psychic abilities of like reading minds and reading temperaments, seeing auras and stuff, that's all connected with the crown chakra. I mean, it's connected with heart chakra and other chakras too, but the main source would be the crown chakra. It has to be fully activated in order to even understand a lot of the information I even just said, okay? And then we have this Mexican food culture language, okay? But this is kind of like in the middle, as if there's a barrier. I'm not entirely sure if there's like a third party here, which it definitely could be. I mean, I'm not really gauging that this popular person is Mexican. But I am seeing that they're strong-willed natured. They may lack a sex drive or be seen as impotent or barren. And this Mexican is kind of more gullible or easily fooled. Understandably, though, when you do not have a spiritual source, when you do not have a true moral and fundamental foundation, there's no way that you can be mentally strong. There's no way. See, confirmation, you're basically a dunce. Okay, so we have this earth angel here, which is most likely the chosen energy that we're talking about, finding a better way, understanding that everything is a life lesson in a sense. If your perception is open, if your perception is not open, then you would view life very physically, like, oh, people are just doing this, people are just doing that, people are just doing that, not realizing that there's always an ulterior motive. There's always something that is beneath the surface that is fueling all of the actions. And what we're seeing on the board already is that what's fueling the actions of the chosen person is their connection with the ethereal. And because we have that on one end, the balance, of course, with any board, on the other end, we'll say that this person does not have it. So are they the person that's more evil, right? The person that is the person of heart of stone, or can be seen as dark. Okay, so I guess this dunce is kind of loud and outspoken, but because it's in the middle, I think this is what all parties have involved. It's like they're all loud and outspoken in their own way. But obviously, if you don't have the ethereal realm offering you information that's beyond your sight, that's beyond your physical senses, then a lot of the time you don't know anything. So you're going based on emotion, right? That is only fact to the person feeling it, instead of going based on empathy, right? As empaths, you can feel the energies of people around you. So are you really saying how you feel, or are you seeing how the collective people around you feel? Because if that's the case, then you are the spokesperson for an idea because multiple people share it, opposed to the spokesperson for yourself and your singular feelings. Okay, so that's another separation that we have between these energies. Even though that they're all pretty outspoken, it is that the more spiritual energy has the empathy to understand that it's not only them that's going through it. If they feel enough to maybe speak, if they feel enough to, you know, act out, like, it is because of the collective energies pushing it, opposed to their personal ego or their personal pride. Okay, so there's someone here that has like a sloppy language, and I'm gauging, we're not gonna, you know, speak into that, you know, anymore. I'm guessing the sloppy language could be because maybe someone was under some kind of like intoxicants, or the sloppy language is because the language is not fully known, and so like you're kind of like moving with it. But I'm not saying that's anything negative. I'm saying that, you know, even though we're noting that these are different nationalities, there is a common language between them, because there has to be a common way of communicating, and in that common way of communicating there's still a barrier. Okay, but it doesn't stop them from being loud. Okay, someone's instinctive, possibly had a cosmetic surgery, could be attached to the mafia, they have straight hair, right? Could be attached to the Muslim faith, based on what we were talking about, spirituality. Out of all of the religions, the Muslim faith is a little bit more contingent with I would say like archaic religions, like the tribal religions, like the Aruba, excuse me. Someone must be in Aruba or going to Aruba. Congratulations to you. That must seem great and fun. That's definitely something I was planning on doing, so we're in tandem. But that's not the conversation for now. Like the Yoruba tribes and the Aborigines. Okay, so they're a little bit more culturally tied, even though the religion is very separate. It's a closer connection if you were talking about like laying all religions out on a board and seeing where they fit into the grand scheme of truth. Okay, but this individual is also non-athletic, so I believe the Jewish faith, if you were to create the diagram, I'm definitely going to, you know, insert a lot of the evidence of a lot of the information I know here at some point, right? But if you were to map out the religions on the universal chart of truth, the Jewish would be second in line with the Protestant religion of Christianity, right? They're very similar. But someone is the Energizer Bunny, even though they're a prude. They don't enjoy drinking or drugs. They have small hands. They may seem haunted or possessed. That's obviously because, you know, they don't have a religion attached to them, or because they're super spiritual and there are other entities or energies speaking through them. Okay, this person has brown hair and considered a sex god, but then they may be barren. So they may be considered a sex god but don't have children, or don't have a drive like most people have to procreate. That's what I'm getting here. Okay, so there's someone who is podunk and consider the basic bitch. Alright, so we're going to put these cards, because we already said in the beginning of the reading that the basic bitch was over here. There's energy that's pansexual, that's needing or have their root chakra activated. Now, what do we mean by our root chakra, right? That means that the level of authenticity and genuinity that we have, that's your root chakra. Okay, so are you showing up in the world as the same person that you would show up by yourself? Okay, then you are probably one of the most authentic people around you. Okay, this is also the chakra of understanding who you are attracted to, or what you're attracted to. Okay, so as an asexual or a pansexual, there is this indecision of who you're attracted to, because it's based on energy. Okay, so that could definitely be with one or multiple energies. Here the root chakra is activated to where they're not really attracted to maybe a specific person, a type of person, or like, you know, maybe this person doesn't have a type. It's more in energy, right? In vibration. Okay, someone has a sharp pointed nose and no affiliation to gangs, which is great. Great idea. There you go. Okay, so On that note, we'll finish with the descriptive cards. Let's get more into the nitty gritty. Let's learn some information about them. Okay, so we know we have 3 major energies. And note that we don't really know the nationality of this more popular person. I'm gauging that it's not really important, but for some reason the nationalities of these other energies are important, so we have to keep that in mind. Okay, all honest answers. Let's see. Okay, something about police. The police left Latino. It's so crazy how the cards fall out, bro. That is so funny. That is so laughing. Oh my gosh, literally cackling. That's what I was having an issue with last night. Someone cackling a little too loud. Basement energy, Capricorn, sharks, but the sharks are not sharking, right? Because at the end of the day, they can't really see the bigger picture, so they're acting more like guppies, right? There's some kind of offering that's being given at a birthday celebration with the jury of your peers, right? Exercise is necessary. There's not going to be a reconciliation because the energies present don't have a connection with the ethereal realm. That's so interesting, bro. What? Yeah, it's more like courage. I was gonna say courage the cowardly lion because the lions were in the reverse, but then here we have courage the cowardly dog because they don't know what's going on. Like they really can't. They have no foresight. Okay, there's some kind of evergreen energy with an Aries. Okay, maybe this Aries is Mexican, right? And this evergreen could be maybe like an envy, because that's what the color symbolizes in the negative. In the positive, it symbolizes wealth beyond the seasons. Okay, but the wealth beyond the seasons is actually over here. It's pigmented on, you know, this side of the card, which is closer to the popular person, even in color. Whereas the ever is more with the, you know, the barbed wire is more connected to, in the same color, the Mexican card here and the courage the cowardly dog card here, which we were talking about these other energies. So that could be why the evergreen is in the middle of everything. They're all connected in some aspect of the word, right? So that's what happens with frequency. You can be in line with someone's frequency but not be of the same frequency. So for example, if my favorite color is yellow and there's 2 other people here who also like the color yellow, it may not be their favorite color, right? Maybe their favorite color is blue and the other person's favorite color is purple, but their second favorite color is yellow, or the person's third favorite color is yellow. Maybe someone's mom's favorite color is yellow, right? And so they just always had yellow things because they were always with their mom. Now that's the connection between all of us. However, we don't know anything about the cultural backing, right? We don't know anything about the nationality. We don't know anything about the age range. We don't know anything about the generations. We don't know any information outside of the color yellow and how it's attached to each individual. Obviously, if it's all about the color yellow, the person whose first favorite color would be the most important person there, right? Because that color is the most important to them. The second most important person would be the person who is their second or third favorite color. And the third most important person there would be the person whose mom's favorite color is yellow. Now, why do we put it in perspective like that? Because the most important person cares the most. The second important person cares, you know, in the middle, and then the third most important cares the least. And that's how the people will show up in the situation if it was about the color yellow. So that is exactly what we're getting here. Realize they're showing up differently. They're probably doing different things where the universe is offering them, you know, their own lessons and stuff, but it's all connected by one simple color. Okay? That's the same thing with this evergreen vibe, even though we know the symbolism behind it. Okay? So this Mexican needs to understand more about their colon health. Okay? So they could be at an age where they need to get a finger in a booty. The music messages will let them know. Okay? So, yeah. Might be scary. Hey, you might enjoy it. That is where your G spot is. So hey, chef don't judge. Okay. This individual is also playing checkers, or they enjoy playing checkers. That's not a negative thing, but it's just that they have a more simplistic way of dealing with situations, with forming bonds, with forming resolutions. It's just more simplistic. Okay, they prefer ease. That's what people who prefer checkers symbolize. Okay, and this owl, which the owl is over here next to the infinity, is in reverse. So there's a lack of wisdom on this side of the board, connected to the energies where we know the nationality. Okay, now that could be because culturally they don't have a very strong spiritual sense that will allow them the wisdom beyond generations. Okay, we're getting this hippo in reverse vibe, which is all talking about communication. Okay, it's talking about communication, but it's also talking about how that communication comes about. So like, are you the person to push the communication, or are you the person to respond to communication? Okay, there's a communal accountability here where everyone present is responsible for pushing the communication and possibly also responding to it, but there was a lack of facilitation on this part, and it could be because of the difference in frequency. Yes, it's all about the color evergreen, right? But the way that people are showing up with this color is not in frequency, and that's the reason why they are separated and they're pushed apart. Okay, someone's a rising phoenix, and this romantic thriller with this immature / childish female, with having this like kind of rageful energy, but moving very passionately, probably because of this romantic thriller, and things kind of like seeming like a cartoon. I'm actually gauging like possibly watching cartoons, or having like cartoons playing or something like that if you're like around little kids. But yeah, this is a real life thriller that we're talking about, because this popular person has to deal with energies so unlike them, right? So not in line with their frequency. And it's pretty predictable, you know. In essence, they're telling you not to engage with this kind of like energy. You know how bunnies and rabbits, like, they procreate, they constantly multiply. Well, that's what is being offered by this negative energy. There's a potential for it to multiply rapidly if energies don't understand the predictable cycle here, and then form a conscious choice to not engage in that predictable cycle. Okay, there's some kind of welcome guest that probably is the reason that we're even talking about this, and these welcome guests kind of have no couth about them. That's what I'm really gauging by this purple in reverse, like the ability to have like jovial fun. It's not really for them. Like, the fun has to be explicit, it has to be vulgar, and it has to be kind of like, I don't want to say like done in the dark, but that's what I'm getting by this energy. Done in the dark, without communication, without wisdom, like, and they're not realizing that the energy that they're offering here is actually feeding demonic energies, right? So, or feeding their ancestors, right? Not all your ancestors are great people. Some of your ancestors could be horrible people, and what you're doing is feeding them energetically by continuing patterns in this 3D matrix still that they can no longer continue because they're not here. Okay, so this Virgo in reverse vibe, possibly with a swimming pool, needing to go to a swimming pool. Someone's being antagonizing or threatening. It's a deja vu moment. People are subtweeting, but it's because they will or are undergoing some kind of rebirth process. There's some kind of pregnancy that's on this way with a holy union, and even though it seems untrustworthy, right? And I say that it seems untrustworthy because it doesn't seem like it's supposed to be here. I keep wanting to put it here because it's like there's an energy that wants to attach it here, but it's not supposed to be here. Like, you don't have to not trust the energy. Okay, and that's probably because this Taurus is in reverse, because someone feels like they are God's gift to the world, or that someone feels like they appear like God's gift to the world, and in essence they lost faith, and in them losing faith they're undergoing a death and rebirth process on a Monday morning, right? Something dealing with garbage and a pig. Someone's a non-threat. Getting this pig, but it's like pig in reverse and like abortion. Treachery. Oh, that's what the treachery was. Like people wanted to offer negativity to, I guess, abort some kind of new beginning with the Holy Union. But it's been reversed because, you know, at the end of the day, you can undergo a real death process if you really want to, or become homeless, you know, if you want to toy with the chosen energies that have faith, right? Because they may not seem like a threat, but at the end of the day, you know, the divine doesn't play about them. I say them, but I mean us, okay? The divine doesn't play about us. But you can play with me if you want to. I'll let you learn that lesson on your own. There's someone that is a bit diseased or ill, but better days are coming. Someone near a back door who's living rent-free in someone else's mind. Okay, there's going to be some kind of intruder alert that's going to take you off of your royal throne. It's kind of a predictable cycle, but do not engage, because remember, it's going to create a lot more negativity for you. And these are going to be welcomed and known guests, so just know, be aware. Someone might be playing video games, and that's going to offer them a bit of serendipity or bliss during this time. I would say go for it. Do something that makes you happy. Okay? Again, not at the expense of other people. Okay? For this energy that needs their colon looked at, by all means, you know, don't ignore it, because if you are receiving karma from the divine, trust and believe that colon health can get worse a lot quicker than it's supposed to. So you better go get it checked out, so that, you know, your ancestors and guides can save you from an ass whooping, because, you know, technically your colon, you know, they got to go up your anus in order to do your rectal area. I'm being so like explicit. I could tell what energies I'm tapping into right now. Okay, there's some kind of blocked contact that wants material items, right? They want to be granted access, so possibly they want for you to unblock them so that they can like communicate or something like that. You're gonna receive this information on a late or mid Tuesday. Okay, but there was some kind of hearing in court. It could be a physical hearing, or there will be a hearing in court, or it could be spiritual. And if it's spiritual, I know the hearing in court already happened, because that's the only time this card comes out. But next to the police officer, it can definitely be past, present, or future. Okay, in the 3D. Spiritually, it happened already, so you kind of need to live now, because the verdict rules in the favor of the popular person, and this will be shown on a Wednesday. All right, it starts whatever day it is right now, but it will be truly highlighted on a Wednesday, on a hump day. Okay, it's a great time for people to cease and desist. Say no to onlookers, to stalkers. There's somebody that is the same girl from September, so maybe something happened to you in September. Maybe someone's born in September. We saw the Virgo card fall out, and that's definitely the sign of September. Okay, someone's in survival mode, but they're going to get a bit of luck, even though it's going to take away from them. We saw the diseased or ill card. And again, this is going to be on a Monday, but it probably is going to change from that Monday morning, like that death vibe, to a Monday fun day, right? And it's going to be because of this SUV or truck, some kind of information about it. All right, so it's a deja vu moment. So it's not like you haven't been here before, but just know that the way that you handle this situation will perpetuate the next one. So either this situation can be a deja vu moment, you do something different and make it into a jamais vu moment, or you can accept it as a deja vu moment, and then the next situation accept that it will be another deja vu moment. But seeing that on the end of this popular person, they understood this assignment, right? And they're moving very boldly in their personal truth, right? We already noted that their personal truth is attached to their spiritual gifts, one being empathy, seeing that they're not the only person that has maybe this idea, this push, this notion, this goal. but they are the person that has the spiritual help to make sure that the assignment is not only understood, but it is offered the best grade possible, right? Okay. So yeah, there might be some kind of homicide, which would be the hard fall for an energy, one or multiple energies, and the spiritual realm will need some kind of praise in order to get this person out of the situation, because they'll technically be out without a paddle. But if one or multiple of these energies have no spiritual connection, have no religious ties, have no inkling or intention to open themselves up to that realm, yeah, they just need to accept the karma, I guess. And the chosen energy, needs to know that they're doing everything that is necessary for their objectives, personal growth, life lessons, and so on. It's just, as a chosen person, they're not all going to be, beautiful and awesome experiences, right? Aw, these Latinos have hearts of stone. Aw, well, even though they can pack all their stuff to the left, they can pack their stuff to the left. They're pretty open. They're pretty open, even though they're atheists. So that could be where the left-handedness comes into play, where it doesn't really make sense. It's not technically right. It's kind of left. It doesn't really make full sense, but it still gets you to your destination. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting by that energy. All right, you got it. Someone broke a contract. No more Panda Red vibes. The calendar would tell. No apologies or closure. This is going to be a joyous experience. And let's get one more just for fun. Early or mid-Saturday. Hey, if it's an early or mid-Saturday for you, just while you're watching this reading, just know, that's super cool. Okay? Well, if you would like a personal, you know how to contact me. I will see us soon. Until the next.